Welcome back. Jasprit Bumrah and Ravichandran Ashwin were the stars on day 4 today as India defeated England by 106 runs in the second test at Visakhapatnam to level the five-match series 1-1. The two picked 3 wickets each on day 4. England, looking to chase down a target of 399, were all out for 292 just before the scheduled tea time. They had resumed their innings, remember, from an overnight score of 67 for 1. Now remember, centuries by Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill, both youngsters, and a bowling masterclass by Jasprit Bumrah helped India defeat England. The second test needs to have a special mention of the young superstar Yashasvi Jaiswal, who powered India with his double century in the first innings, while Bumrah skillfully utilised reverse swing to great effect, scalping 9 England wickets in the whole process. He was adjudged man of the match. The two teams now will enjoy a break before resuming the battle in the third test in Rajkot, which would be interesting to see because it might either push India into being even more confident or shove them into a space of worry, considering the fact that the availability of Virat Kohli and Ravindra Jadeja isn't clear yet. Let me go across to my colleague Ashish, who will get us what all transpired in today's match. Ashish, well, the boom, boom, Bumrah magic was everybody, had their eyes on. And of course, it worked for Team India. But get us everything that transpired today.
Right, Shrayu, of course, summed a lot of it up. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Jasprit Bumrah, Shubman Gill, 3 standout performers for Team India in this particular match. And Indian fans will, of course, breathe a sigh of relief because this was one particular match where it looked a little out of balance for India, even heading into day 4. In fact, yesterday as well, India did not really look in a good position. England was all set to chase down the target. In fact, the English team had come out and said that they were going to go for the target regardless of whether it was 300, 400 or even 600. And that sort of a confidence from an opposition usually puts your team on the back foot. And India did see that as well in the first match, wherein their spinners were swept, reverse swept, this kind of batting that they'd never seen before from a visiting side, which meant that a home team like India, which is very, very dominant, also had faced a lot of issues. So this is something that India had to counter in the second test. A lot was at stake, but India has finally managed to win this particular game. But the problem this time around is the fact that while India has managed to win this particular game, they are still lacking the team performance that it needs to win in conditions like this. First innings, it was Yashasvi Jaiswal that rescued Team in India. Second innings, it was Jasprit Bumrah's incredible spell. In fact, it was the first innings of England's batting. And also in the second innings, it was Shubman Gill's century that helped India come out of a rut. So clearly, it's the individual performances that are powering India at this point in time. And this is something for Captain Rohit Sharma to worry as well. A lot of questions were being raised on his captaincy, but he's countered that with the bowling effort and the fielding changes that came out while England was chasing as well. So all in all, a lot to look forward to India. And again, India has made a comeback, and this series will be a nail-biting one, given the fact that England was the last team that beat India in India way back in 2012. So it's history beckoning for England, while for India, it is their time to ensure that they continue their winning momentum on home soil. Also joining us on the broadcast is Vedam Jaishankar, who's a sports journalist and someone who I had also had the pleasure of discussing the preview of this match, and we were anticipating a close encounter between England and India. Vedam, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. How do you look at this match? How did it pan out? Because I remember earlier, before the match began, we were talking about how the English batters were going to give nightmares for India, and looks like they did manage to do that. It was the brilliance of Jasprit Bumrah in the first innings and also in the second innings, just about India managing to bowl England out. Help us understand what transpired and how it's going to be for India in the rest of the series.
Hi, good evening. Actually, when you look at the entire strategy that India played, I think it was very brilliant. And I must mention there was tremendous teamwork there. India decided that, the very idea of baseball is to put pressure on the bowlers and intimidate them. India decided that they wouldn't play fire with fire. It made no sense. So India went the other way. They decided that defense was the best form of attack. So if you really look at it, even the spinner didn't bowl with attacking field. There might have been a slip, there might have been a short leg, but that was it. You had a deep mid wicket, you had a long on, you had a long off. So what it really meant was that England was not going to get those easy runs. And if you look at the English batting, it was not all baseball. Take Crawley, for instance. His 73 came off about, I think, about 132 or 133 deliveries. That was a strike rate of maybe 55. Even the skipper, uh, Stokes, he made 11 out of 29 balls, which was about strike rate of about 35. So I don't think all of them were going for it. They tried to ensure that one or two batsmen would play defensively, while at the other end, the others would go for the bowling. Like Joe Root, it was not Joe Root's style of batting at all. But he decided to go for the bowling. So did Duckett and the others. So I think England played a little smartly, but India was smarter on the day because first and foremost, these Indian bowlers were highly experienced. They were not going to get phased if they got hit for 5 or 6 runs in an over. They stayed the course. They knew they had a job to do. They had to be lucky once, whereas the batsmen had to be lucky all the time. It was not a bad pitch, but still India didn't give
Vedam,
up. And the
excellent point that
bowlers
you're
really
making
kept their
there.
head. They kept their cool.
Vedam, you're
And
talking about the baseball. Right,
yeah,
Vedam,
go
you're
ahead.
talking about the baseball, and you made a very excellent point there that I want you to talk more on. You were talking about how not every batsman was playing baseball. In fact, a couple of batsmen were playing defensively, but I think England got it wrong in the kind of batsman that they decided to go ahead with, the aggressive style of play. Now, someone like Joe Root, who scored over 11,000 test runs, who's batted well in India in the past, I think a technique such as baseball needs to revolve around Joe Root and not with Joe Root. I think this is where England missed the trick. The sort of batsman that went against the bowling. I think Joe Root, if he had stayed on the crease, the 100-run difference, I think Joe Root would have made it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think what England decided, what Crawley was a man in. He was already there. He got runs in the first innings. I think he got about 72, 73 in the first innings. So he was in the man in form. And second innings too, he was on top of the bowling. They didn't want to throw his wicket. They decided they will have a go at the other end. But like I said again, the Indian bowlers were very mature, very experienced, and they didn't get phased. They didn't have drooping shoulders at all when the batsman went after them. Even Bumrah, when he was hit for about two, three fours, and again Ashwin, they didn't lose their cool at all. They knew what they had to do and stuck to that. I think this worked because of the experience of the bowling attack and the maturity of the bowling attack. If the bowling attack was slightly immature or
Right,
youngish,
right.
then maybe they would have got disheartened by the way the English batsmen went. I think this is England's strategy, but India countered it very well. And once again, thanks very much to the experience of the bowlers. The only tragedy is our middle order is not coming to the party. You mentioned very correctly there's just two batsmen,
Right,
one in
right.
each innings, who came good. But as for the others, I don't know what they're doing because they don't seem to have a fight in them, and the way they're throwing their wickets. This is not. See, the advantage India has is if
Right.
it can put up runs. I don't think any team can beat India in India because Indian bowlers know how to bowl in these conditions. But unfortunately, our batsmen, except for Jaiswal,
Right.
who played magnificently, played in the first innings, and of course Shubman Gill, who played in the second innings. Otherwise, you had Akshar Patel scoring 45, and I think Ashwin got about 29, 30 runs. But that's it.
Vedam, we've just
But
got
that's
around
not
a
the
minute
style
on
of
the
thing you want.
broadcast. I just want a concluding view of yours on a particular issue that I think India will have to sit and think long and hard about. They've got a break of about 10 days now. It's the batting order and also something with the bowling as well. KS Bharat, neither is his batting coming to the fore, neither is his wicket-keeping skill that looking that great as well. He was letting a lot of buys go by, which someone like Ben Foakes, who's just come out in a place like India, he looked very comfortable against spin. But KS Bharat did not look that comfortable. We're also talking about bowlers like Mukesh. So a lot of changes that India will have to make for the third test, a lot to tinker around because we've got batsmen waiting in the ranks. There's Rajat Patidar who can come and wicket keep as well. Sarfraz Khan, I believe, can be a good wicket keeper as well. Also, we've got an option. We've got an option in the playing 11 as well. So a lot of batsmen waiting in the wings. Dhruv Jurel that I'm talking about. So India really needs to tinker around because I don't think India is anywhere close to their best playing 11 at this point.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you on that score. I thought Bharat kept well, but his batting, I don't. I think what we need to really do is get KL Rahul back as a wicket keeper. He can do that job and add another batsman into a team. Now Shreyas Iyer is a big flop. He's not scoring runs. He doesn't look like he's got a fight in him. So I think he just has to make way. I'm not so sure about Sarfraz Ahmed, not because of his batting, But I think there are too many poor fielders in the team there. Sarfraz is not a great fielder, neither is Ashwin for that matter, or Mukesh or Kuldeep. There are too many slow movers there. So I don't think the team can afford to hide so many people. The skipper himself is staying in slips, and
Right.
that's doing well. He's actually pulled off a couple of brilliant catches, but he's also not a fast mover. He's not as fast as he used to be maybe
Right.
5 years ago. So I think there are fielding issues there, and I'm not sure if India wants to put too many of the slow movers into the field. So, but yes, you're right about Mukesh also. He didn't look the part. Maybe he'll be very good in England or South Africa or elsewhere. But here
Yeah.
on Indian pitches, it was like target practice for the batsmen. And I think they need to get a better bowler. My idea is to get one
Absolutely.
more batsman into the team, but that batsman should come at the expense maybe of KS Bharat, because KL Rahul can keep wickets, and you'll have stretch. But you still need five bowlers. Five bowlers is always a good option to go with, and we need five bowlers.
Right. Absolutely, Vedam. Very good analysis there, because a lot to think for India. They've come back into the series, but I think given the sort of record that India has, just coming back into the series should not, make them complacent. And given the fact that we still are not anywhere close to the best playing 11 on the home ground, a lot of players are still not clicking. Right from the captain himself, playing those small little cameos in India is not going to work out. We really need a solid opening batsman besides Jaiswal, because not every innings is Jaiswal going to click. And also Bumrah as well, a lot of pressure on him and Ashwin to pick a chunk of the wicket. So I think a lot for India to think about heading into the third game. Rajkot, of course, I believe will benefit the spinners at some point. So again, this is going to be a mouth-watering series. We'll be getting all the updates live, and also we'll be discussing all the matches in detail, trying to understand how Team India is faring. But that's it from my end on this note. Let me just go across to my colleague Shreya now.
Thanks, Ashish, and thanks, Vedam Jaishankar, for all that perspective. And, well, it was a good day for India, not just in cricket, but